right? There are something some people will be interested or need to know. Some people might not be like that. But this one, he had clearly said, every one of you must know this, and clearly he foretold, prophesied, saying, otherwise what will happen is a time will come when people will ask about inheritance and people will give the wrong fatwa. And that is exactly what is happening today. Today, people do not know the inheritance laws. The inheritance laws is one of the things, is the only thing, I would say, that the Imam said is the thing where Allah has gone into minute details, right? It comes in several surahs, minute details, because why is it so important? We have to understand why it is, then we will take it very seriously. Nowadays, people take it like, I'll do whatever I want with my own property. If I have earned it, if I have inherited, I'll do whatever I want. I'll give it to my favorite son or my favorite daughter, or I'll give it to the daughters as dowries, and when the sons don't get anything, all the haram things are happening because we do not know the importance. Why is it important? For one thing, we must remember, when a person earns or inherits or get a gift, or in any sense, he is given the barakat of earning something or having something. It can be a house, it can be a property, it can be a business, it can be gold, it can be money, anything that they have earned. While they are living, they can enjoy it as much as they want, right? And that is up to them. Of course, not the haram way, but the halal way. But when they are dying, that bill doesn't belong to them. It actually belongs to his inheritors. Now, this inheritor is not somebody you can choose. Allah had already chosen. So there are certain people, they must inherit. They will automatically inherit. Then if they are not there, there are other people who will inherit. Nowadays, everything that is happening is totally upside down. For example, when a man dies now, if he was doing business with brothers, nobody knows what should happen to his property. So what normally happens is his property is taken over by the brothers. Right? Say they had a very successful business. Then they take it over and they give whatever they feel sort of fair to the wife or children, which is haram really, right? It doesn't belong to the brothers or sisters when there are children. So we have to know this, and when they take it over and they also take a part of it, they also use it for themselves, then they are actually stealing from who should really inherit. Now, in this world, nobody might question them because nobody knows what is right and wrong, and people do not know. But definitely in the akhirah, they will be questioned. That is why it is so very important. This is equivalent to usurping or stealing or unlawfully taking somebody else's property. That may be your brothers, your sisters, or your children's, or your fathers, or your mothers. You may be taking it unlawfully because you have to know what it has to be. And if you don't do that, definitely in the akhirah, you will have to pay through your nose. Practically pay through all your good amals. You will have to give it to them. They also might not know the laws now, but definitely they will know the laws in the akhirah, and you will also know. And then Allah will question, why didn't you give? Now you have no chance of saying, I didn't know, Ya Allah, because of that, forgive me. No. Remember that. Rasulullah said, the only person who will have a chance to say, I didn't know, every one of us have to know exactly how one person's property should be divided. Nobody has a right to say, I did not know, and because of that, what to do? I won't, I did not do the right thing. Now, who is the person who can genuinely say, I did not know? Rasulullah said, only a person who grew up in a place where Islam did not reach. Maybe he is cast aside in a far away, what do you call, an island or somewhere, and then he survived that. And then from there, he grew up and then died there. He may be able to say, Ya Allah, I didn't know because nobody told me and I didn't reach, the Islam did not reach me. Rasulullah said, that's the only person who can say, I didn't know. Right? We have no way of saying, I didn't know. We are supposed to know. That's why Rasulullah said, Talabul ilm farilatun ala kulli Muslim. Finding the knowledge or searching for the knowledge or reaching out for the knowledge, especially about how to live according to Allah's orders, is a fardhu duty. It's not a sunnah. Today people are taking it as a sunnah. Mustahab, like, okay, if I can, I'll study. If I can't, I can't. I won't, right? I'm very busy with housework and I'm very busy with my job. I'm very busy with the shopping, or also very busy with being on the phone or anything like that. But we don't take the time to get to know these things. And on the day of the Akhirah, we have no leg to stand on. May Allah protect all of us. That is why there are some things everybody must know. So this is not rocket science. This is not very difficult. It is very, very, very easy. But today, 99.9% of the people don't, because they haven't paid paid any attention to the fact that we have to know this. So I hope that today I did a separate program on this also, because some people wanted. How much I do, the people who know come, the people who are interested, the others don't come. If you put your inheritance laws, there is a certain crowd that comes. Anyway, inshallah, we can do only so much, and beyond that, So today when you all are listening, even though only a few of you are there, make sure that you learn it very clearly so that you can teach another person. I'll tell you very simply, right? There is no sort of things that you have to carefully remember or anything like that. Very simple. First rule that you have to do, like this, in this one, Allah says, Kutiba alaykum idha halara ahadakumul maut. It is written on you. That is, it is a fardhu duty on you. When you say Kutiba alaykum, it is written on you is the grammatical translation, but it means, what it means is, it is made fardhu for you when the death comes to you, in taraka khairanil wasiyatu. Right? If you did, if you are leaving anything good, right? Anything good, wasiyatu lil walidaini wal aqrabin bil maut. You have to do wasiyat, that a part of it should go for walidaini, your parents, and wal aqrabin, and the relatives, bil ma'ruf, in the correct way, in the beautiful way. Haqqan alal muttaqin. Right? That is absolute obligation on the muttaqins, on the people, God-conscious people. Now see, in this verse, the first one, this is the first verse that came down also about inheritance. And the first person Allah mentions is wasiyat bil walidain. Right? When you die, a part of it should go for your parents. Does anybody in today's world, when they die, they give part of their property to their parents? No. They just either don't do anything, or they give it to all the things to the wife and forget about it. The wife takes everything, or the eldest son takes everything, or the Long as son takes everything, and as I said, the brothers take it. Right? So the first one Allah says is, when death comes to you, the first one is for your parents. Then only the akrabin. Akrabin is the other relatives. And the basic rule is, when a person dies, his property is divided definitely to these three groups of people. One is his parents, second is his wife or husband, the spouse, and third is his children. Those are the people who will definitely inherit. If they are not there, then only it will go to the brothers or sisters or aunties or uncles or grandchildren. Even the grandchildren don't inherit. That is something we have to understand. So the first rule to remember is the parents. Second, your spouse. Third is your children. Right? These three must inherit. You can't give everything to the children and say, okay, they'll look after the mother. You can't say everything to the children and say, they'll look after the grandfather. No, because Allah says first to the walidaini. In this verse, it says you have to do wasiyat, that is, you have to write the will, or at least, orally you have to say. But this particular Quranic verse was abrogated. We did the Nasikh Mansukh earlier. Nasikh Mansukh, some Quranic verses were abrogated by Allah Himself. And He said, this is the rule to start with, and later He will change that one and change that one, and so on. Like the alcohol, that's a commonest example everybody knows. In the beginning, Allah says, don't come to prayers while you are drunk. Right? Other times He has allowed. Right? Then later He said, don't drink. Right? He just the superficial. He said, don't drink. But third one, He said, do not even go near drinking. So it was sent in three ways. So the first one, when He said, don't come to prayers while you are drunk, now it is abrogated. Whether it is your prayers or not, you should not be drinking at all. So that's abrogation we have done earlier. That is, Allah changes some of the rules. Like that, this verse is also changed. That is, in the beginning, Allah says, when you are dying, do a wasiyat. Wasiyat to give part of your properties to the parents. But now they say that wasiyat is not important at all, not necessary at all. Whether you say the wasiyat or not, your property, part of it will go to your parents. How much will go? 1/6 to the mother, 1/6 to the father. So imagine what a lot that is. 1/6 to the mother and 1/6 to the father is quite a huge amount. But whoever gives to the parents, nobody gives anything to the parents. They say, they are old now, somebody will look after. And because of that, only because we are neglecting Allah's orders only, today we are finding loads of elderly people who put their sweat and toil to bring their children up. And later on, when the child is living, sometimes they might look after, but when the child dies, right? And they become orphans practically, and nobody is looking after them because they have no property, no place to stay, no house to stay. And sometimes they are on the road, or they are trying to get something from NGOs, right? Which is very sad, right? So we should remember that this is direct order from Allah. He said, write wasiyat in the beginning. Then He said, no need even to write wasiyat. Automatically, your property 1/6 must go to the mother, 1/6 must go to the father. If one of them is not living, then they don't get that. Right? That property is not, that part is not given. The other, say mother is dead, then you give it to the father only 1/6. But if there are no children, that one changes. I won't go into that now because I don't want to confuse you all, but just remember, the parents get a share, 1/6 each. Then the wife or the husband, when anybody dies, the spouses get a share. How is that? If there are children, they get less because the rest has to go to the children. If there are no children, they get more. That is one way. The second thing to remember is the husband, if the wife dies, the husband gets double, right? If the husband dies, the wife gets half of what a husband would get. In other words, if there are children, the husband gets 1/4 of the whole property. If there are no children, the husband will get half of it, right? The balance will go to the parents. Whereas if the husband dies, the wife will get, if there are children, she will get 1/8. But if there are no children, then she will get 1/4. So remember, the husband gets half or 1/4. The wife gets 1/4 or 1/8, right? Half of what it is, right? I have explained this earlier, why the women are given less, right? Quickly to go through. One thing, they are supposed to be looked after by the men in the family. Ar-rijalu qawwamuna 'ala an-nisa'i means the men in the family must always look after the female part, but whoever they are. They don't have to be their own daughter or the wife or something like that. It can be sister, it can be a niece, it can be an auntie. Any of them, the relatives, the females are supposed to be a responsibility for the men. Second is the men have to give the mahar, the women don't have to give the mahar. Third, the man has to look after his own parents. The girls do not have that responsibility. If they look after, it's fine. But if they don't look after also, there is no problem. So the husband has to look after, and also the fourthly, he is responsible to look after his wife and the children, even if the wife is a multi-billionaire. She doesn't have to spend a cent. That is why in all the inheritance places, the husbands get double. But see, in the case of Walidaini, in cases of mother and father, both of them are getting equal. Because they have no responsibility, they look after themselves. But when they die, their property will again go down to the children. So it's something that goes round and round. So this is why it's very important. And also Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, don't leave your children paupers. So a man has a responsibility to make sure that his property, fair amount is left for the children. They cannot donate the whole of their property to charity. And it is not allowed. Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, if you want to give for charity or for somebody outside the inheritors list or somebody you like to or anything like that, that has to be only 1/3. Having said that also, he said 1/3 is too much. Right? Better to give less than 1/3. Right? That is the way that Allah has ordered this one. That is why Allah says, first give it to the parents and the akrabin. Akrabin can be your wife or husband, your children. Then if they are there, if the wife or husband is there, their brothers and sisters can get, but we'll go into that detail later. But for the moment, remember 3 parties: the parents, the spouse, and the children. Whether boy or girl, they always get a share from a person who dies, and that whether that person is a man or a woman. So if a woman dies, that woman's parents should get. Today it is not happening. Today what happens is when a wife dies, the husband takes the whole thing, which is haram. Right? According to this verse, her parents should get 1/6 each, and the husband should get, depending on the children, there are children on the said amount, and the children should, if they are there, they have to get the balance. And this is so strict. It is said that even if the wife is pregnant, and if you know whether it's a boy or a girl, you have to give that property. And boy and girl, children, the boys get double share, and the girls get 1 share, the boys get double share, 2 shares. And if a mother is pregnant at the time of the death of the father, even that unborn child gets the share. So carefully it is mentioned. But today we don't practice any of them. And we often wonder why Muslims are being penalized and oppressed and suppressed and, abused and also on all the time. Very simply, Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam clearly said, if you do not follow the deen of Allah, you will definitely fall into trouble. That's as simple as that. So whenever we are having these problems, even about the corona people being buried and so on, that's actually, because our society is so ignorant on all this. We are not giving the zakat as it should be given. We are giving it, ad hoc and not with the proper knowledge at all. We are just giving, saying Maula Islam, and we are giving it for 10, 20 years, which is totally wrong. It doesn't say anywhere. The Quran says Mu'allafatul Qulub doesn't mean Maula Islam. Right? I have done this earlier. And the zakat should be given in a way that, even if you give the whole thing to one person, that person should be able to give zakat the next year. That is our intention should be. But what are we doing? We're just giving 100 rupees to everybody, 1,000 rupees to everybody. And we are very happy thinking that we've done a wonderful zakat. And what are we making? We are making the zakat recipients to be beggars. Right? They have to go around collecting what is due for them from 100 people before they can at least get enough to survive for the next year. It's all wrong. The inheritance laws are all wrong. The business is all wrong. People don't know, what you can do and what you should not be doing. What sort of capital, what sort of bank loans you can take. It's all wrong. And the jobs that we are doing, quite a lot of them are haram jobs, and we make our own excuses. And even Muslims, and it's very shameful. We all are totally aware that sugar business in Sri Lanka, right? How they reduced the tax to 25, and then, as soon as that came, they increased it to 75 or something like that. And the person who actually got the whole thing, got the whole load of sugar and then hoarded it, is a Muslim. Right? Very clearly, he's a Muslim. So when people like that are there and they are doing these things and the rest of the crowd doesn't say anything, and we are not even sort of uttering a hum, even saying, oh, he's a Muslim, he should be doing it. No, we don't do it because our politics is so bad. And we just let that be. We just pass over and look at all the Muslim politicians. Who does anything? Show me one politician who had been true to his self when he did this thing. Of course, some of them might have done something, but most of them did not do anything. They just earned money. So I can go on and on and on, right? It's very depressing, but let whatever the others doing, it's the one thing. But we have to ask ourselves, each of us, am I being 100% or at least 99.9% to the ability, to the best of my ability, am I following all the rules and regulations? I repeatedly tell you all, the basis of following Allah's rules and regulations properly is knowledge. Right? If you don't know what Allah had told us to do, how can we follow them? We are just following, whatever somebody said, that person, then this person said, that alim said, this ulama said, and there are various fatwas and things like that. But if you know the Quran, you know the Quran. At least you know the basics, right? Of course, there are maybe fatwas with difference of opinion where Allah had left it for us. But this question about, your parents should be given 1/6 of your property each is something that is a direct order in the Quran by Allah. And how many of us know and how many of us even do? How many of us have got from our parents the unfair amount, right? Many of the girls would have got as dowry much more than what they should be getting according to the Quran and Hadith. when a person, say a father is alive, when he is giving anything to the children, boys and girls must get equal. At that time, the 2:1, the question doesn't come. Now we don't give 2:1. 2:1 means the boy gets two twice and girl gets once. That's a Quranic order. But what are we doing? We give 10 times to the girls and once to the, or even nothing to the boys, and the boys also earn and spend on the girls. And no wonder we are all having problems. So what you people should do, think seriously about it. If you have got more than what you should have got, now call your brothers and sisters and have a mashur and discuss this openly. And we divide. Of course, if you have got more, if the brothers say it's okay, we'll make it halal and we won't ask you in the akhirah, then that's fine. But if you don't, for fear of being questioned in this world, the brother saying, oh, you should have given me more, you got more than what you deserve, you know what you're doing wrong, now you have built the house and you don't know how to give the house back and therefore you are wondering how to do and things like that. Ultimately, you know, you will be happy in this world. In the akhirah, you will have a problem. Actually, I have told this 101 times in my bayans. What happened to my family is my parents, my father divided the property as he thought fit to children. Right? He decided some of us were very well off, some of were not very well off. So he decided to give them according to that. But once we, the children, learned that this is the way that it should be done. Now I'm the eldest. I called all my brothers and sisters, 6 of them, 7 of us got together. And with my mother, we all sat and made a mashur. And then we decided, okay, this person got too much, this person did not get, this person did that one, this one. So we all redid the whole thing. And said, we decided, okay, these are the amounts that we should have got. And if somebody had got more, either that person could give it back, some of them gave it back. Some of them said, okay, now I have built up my house in that and I can't give it back, but I will pay for it. So the other person said, okay, that's fine. And they, between themselves, they put up a price and they settled it. So everybody has got it totally halal way, specifically, remember, specifically, because we did not want our father to suffer in the cup. You know what the hadith says? It says, a person may do good and good and good and good, and he may be just one handspan from the heaven. If he dies at that time, he will go to the heaven. But he did not divide his properties, his inheritance, according to the Quran and Hadith. He did it according to his whims and fancies, what he thought was right. And because of that, he will be punished in the qabr and he will be pushed headlong into the hell. Subhanallah. My father, though he was a very knowledgeable person, he knew Quran a little bit, not the way that we are studying, but at least he had read and so on. But he did not really understand all the details. And because that he did certain, it was not totally wrong, but it was quite a bit of them had to be redone. So we did not want him to suffer in the qabr, especially never in the akhirah. Because of that, all children and my mother also, all of us decided this is the way it is. And thank God, the spouses, right, the brothers' wives or the girls, we girls, the husbands, did not have any say at all. They did not even invite them for the discussion because it is not relevant to them. And thank God they all agreed to whatever we had to do. Some of them had to pay to get their part. Some of them had to give their property to somebody else. So this is the way that we should do, everybody. I'm not saying it like a proud thing. I'm saying this is something that we should all think very carefully. In this world, it is better for us to lose some property rather than in the day of the Akhirah. Because Rasulullah said, if you have even 1 inch of a property that you have acquired unlawfully, that property will be put on your neck like this, and it will keep pressing and pressing and pressing you until for a long time. யார் பத்திரம்னு தெரியுமா?
Please unmute.
Right. Sorry about that. Right. You all know that I'm doing this coconut charcoal stove, right? Cooker. I had to distribute some, and they have gone, and I have forgotten to give the phone now. Right. Okay. So to come back to the topic, first learn it. We have to do 2 things once we learn this. One is you have to find out what you have inherited, whether that is correct. If not, give it in this world, or at least settle it in this world. Say you have taken more than your brothers, ask all your brothers, is that all right? Right? They may be quarrelsome people, they may not agree with it, but anyway, do something about it. At least you must say to them, okay, I will give you, right? That's a loan for you to give it to them, because that's due to them you have taken. That's one thing, but you have got as an individual person. Second is, make sure that when you die, that your property is divided according to the Quran and Hadith. Till now itself, tell your husband, my properties. Now, when you say my properties, what does it mean? It is, if you have a house or a land or a business or shares or jewelry or even pots and pans and so on. So much so that you have to be so careful. It is said, according to some imams, they say when a person dies, suppose he has only 1 sarong or waiting, let's say like one piece of cloth, nothing else is there. According to this one, Allah says, in taraka khairan. If you have left anything good at all, right, then that particular sarong, now if he has the parents, if he has the children and the wife, ideally should be cut into pieces, so many pieces, and given it to 1 piece to the father, 1 piece to the mother, 1 piece to the wife, unless all of them agree and say, okay, 1 person take it, either you pay for me or it's okay, we are making it halal, right? It is that simple, right? But what are we doing? So think about it. So now itself, I have written my wasiyat long ago, and I have informed my husband, my children, my brothers, my parents, everybody I have informed saying, because I have some properties in my name. This property could have been that what you inherited from your mother or father. Still, it's the same. Maybe something you bought, you earned and you bought. Maybe you got it from your husband. Your husband wrote this property in your name, means it belongs to you. He cannot say, no, I earned and I wrote it in your name to avoid tax or something like that. No, once it is written in your name, it belongs to you. That has to be divided according to Quran and Sunnah. And it can be your jewelry. It can be some gift from somebody. Maybe your children gifted you, or maybe outsiders, sisters and brothers or anything gifted you. All of them belong to you, and all the properties have to be put together and then divided according to this Quran and Hadith. So you have to make sure that you know this. You inform of your inheritance rules to your inheritors. You don't really have to write. Now, those days we used to say you have to write, that when we did not know Islam properly. Now, all you have to say is divide it according to Quran and Hadith. Get all my properties together and then divide it like this, so that my father gets 1/6, my mother gets 1/6, my husband gets, if you have children, my husband gets 1/4, and the balance go to the children, and the boys get double. You have to say that, and that's it. But how? Suppose you have 2 houses, right? Maybe both of them are equal value. Say each of them are 20 million, 20 million. So the son should get double. So if you have jewelry or some other shares or property or business or something like that, with that you can compensate. Otherwise, so you have to value both of them and then divide it into 3. If you have 1 son and 1 daughter, divide it into 3, and 2/3 will go to the son, 1/3 will go to the daughter. Or if you have more than 1 sons, 1 son or more than 1 daughter, it has to be like that, it has to be divided. So these are not things that you should take lightly. You should not say, I can't be bothered with all these. What is this? We'll just give it to anybody and let it be, because this daughter only looked after me when I was old. This the daughter only was very close to me, and therefore you give your property to that daughter or that son or something like that. Or you are one of your sons or somebody is very authoritative, and then you are scared of them, and because of that you give it to that person, and goes, if you do like that, in the Akhirah you will have to answer to Allah. How are you going to answer? That is why it's very important that we inform our inheritors. The first set of inheritors is your parents, then your spouse and your children. Then you may write it down, you may not write it down, it doesn't matter, but it has to be known to them, told to them, this is the way it should. Then if there are no children, then if you have parents, then the parents get everything other than what the spouse gets. If there are no parents or no children, then and then only your brothers and sisters will get. So we have to know at least this basic thing, because Allah says, Haqqan muttaqeen. This is a farl, wajib, obligation on the God conscious people. Right. So Allah says, just after that, it's almost 6 o'clock. Okay, we'll do this song. فَمَنْ بَدَّلَهُ بَعْدَ مَا سَمِعَهُ فَإِنَّمَا إِثْمُهُ عَلَى الَّذِينَ يُبَدِّلُونَ إِنَّ اللَّهَ سَمِيعٌ عَلِيمٌ. After the wasiyat had been written down, or you can write it down if you want to, otherwise it should have been told, right, to the relevant people. If then once a person dies, all the inheritors have to get together and then sit and discuss, how to divide according to Quran and Sunnah, and then make a decision. Suppose it is said like that, or it is in this one, I said, Samia, after they hear it. If suppose somebody goes and changes it after hearing it, either it's in written form or in a oral form, after if they change it, فَإِنَّمَا إِثْمُهُ عَلَى الَّذِينَ يُبَدِّلُونَ. The sin of that will be on the person who is changing it. You can't change it. But this doesn't mean if the person who dies had written it bad or wrong or against the Quran and Hadith, then they should change it. Right? This could be a Qadi, or it could be a lawyer or somebody who is actually overlooking the division. Then they should really make sure that it is according. The next verse will come. Because Inna Allah Samiyun. Definitely Allah is all hearing and all knowledgeable. No, nothing can escape him. Whatever we are doing, Allah is aware of it, and Allah will definitely question us on the day of Qiyamah. So beware of him. This is what we call muttaqun. Muttaqun is taqwa dhari. Taqwa, the principle in taqwa. Taqwa is God consciousness. Be aware of the presence of Allah. Allah is watching you. Allah knows what you're doing. Allah hears you. Allah is looking at you, while you can't look at it. Right? Allah can look at the whole mankind and whole universe while looking at one person also, because his Samiyun Alim is different from human nature. So he knows, he can hear, he absolutely understands exactly what is going on, and he will definitely question us. But Allah says, next one, فَمَنْ خَافَ مِنْ مُوسٍ جَنَفًا أَوْ إِثْمًا فَأَصْلَحَ بَيْنَهُمْ فَلَا إِثْمَ عَلَيْهِ إِنَّ اللَّهَ غَفُورٌ رَحِيمٌ. But in case the one who is saying there is a mistake or there is a injustice in the person who had done the division of his own property, but the person who is doing the division or distributing this, if they find that the person whose property are dealing with, if they have done it wrong or if they have done it unjustly, then they should فَأَصْلَحَ بَيْنَهُمْ. If he corrects it and does it properly, فَلَا إِثْمَ عَلَيْهِ, then that changing there is no sin. If it had been written properly according to Quran and Sunnah, and the person who is distributing it just says, no, that person needs more, this person needs more, something like that, and changes it, then it is haram that the person who is doing that will carry that sin. But if they find that it had been done wrongly or unjustly, then if he corrects it and then does it the correct way, there is no sin for him. Inna Allah ghafurun rahim. Indeed, Allah is very forgiving and He is very merciful. So, if at the time of division, if everybody agrees to that, then inshallah, the person who wrote it wrongly, the person who decided to give it wrongly, the inheritors can rectify his mistake, and then he will not be punished because Allah will forgive them. And Allah is very merciful. Allah will not hold it against him. But also in any way, how much he should have known, how much he didn't do, all those things also, how Allah will look at it, we don't know. But at least the inheritors, especially the children, must make sure that because of the properties, our parents should not suffer in the qabr or in the mahshar or in the akhirah. Right? So we have to be very careful about that. Okay, we'll stop there. Right. Because next one is about the fasting. Any questions, any comments? Yeah, anything anybody wants to ask? There hardly anybody there anyway. Zakia, Akshana, please, nothing. Right. Any questions?
Nothing. Make dua that we'll be able to come for every of your class.
Inshallah, inshallah. That is up to you to make dua.
Yeah, I know, but something or the other happens at that time, and I fell asleep one day and something, Allahu Akbar.
That shows how much of intention there. Suppose I have told you, okay, anybody who's coming for the class is going to get, every time they coming, I'm going to give 1 lakh each. If you fall asleep?
No, and I couldn't find my book also. I'm still looking, arranging the whole house, because after my mother, we shifted the rooms and the cupboards, and
These are excuses you are telling yourself or telling me?
myself. Nothing for you, no blame of yours.
Have the book, buy another one or study online. This is something that you can download. We're talking about the Arabic language.
I must download and get it.
We send the link every day. You
Yeah.
can this thing. So you know everything in the right?
And the tawfiq and the blessing.
Blessing all comes from your need.
Inshallah. I will never disagree with you.
Now, see the rules and regulations I have made. My whole family knows. Right now, though I work as a doctor now, I have said between 4 and 6. Don't call me, don't come visiting, don't expect me to get up and come and entertain you. My extended family, my sisters, brothers, my aunties, uncles, cousins, nieces, nephews, everybody know this is my specific time. And because of that, nobody they will come at any other time. They might come at 11 o'clock in the night. But between 4 and 6, they'll never, unless it's a life-saving, life-threatening situation, they'll never come. Because they know that I have told them, sorry, this is my special time. I'm teaching at this time, earning barakat for my akhir. So don't expect me to give this up. Similarly, now, say Wednesday morning, I have a bayan at Al-Muslim. So Wednesday morning, all the external friends, all my friends, family, everybody knows Wednesday morning I'm not available. If they really need something, they'll call me before 10 and say, okay, I have to come, or I have to ask you, or whatever. I'll come after 2 o'clock. Right, fine. Right? So these are rules and regulations you make for yourself. Right? This again, all boil down to ultimately, what are we living for? I want to go to Jannatul Firdaus. It's as simple as that. I want to go to Jannatul Firdaus. No question about it, no excuse about it, no sidestepping about it, no argument about it. I want to go to Jannatul Firdaus. So some things you have to do to Jannatul Firdaus, because we are not Sahabiyas. We are not Tabi'un Tabi'un. We are not prophets or anything like that. And we are far away from Rasulullah's time. So we'll have to do loads of things. And learning Arabic is one of the greatest ibadah. If your intention is to study the Quran. So you really want to, you will. As I said, if I told you, if you come for the class, I'll give you 1 lakh. Every class, I'll give you 1 lakh. Will you fall asleep? Will you lose your book? Will you forget? Will you go shopping? Will you entertain anybody? No, my 1 lakh. My God, I'm going to miss. But what you're missing is much more than 1 lakh of rupees. And not because I am teaching anybody. right? If you are going to study Arabic, right, with the intention of learning the Quran, reading the Quran, understanding the Quran, that's for every letter you are getting, you are millions of amal with you. Whether you finish it or not is immaterial. Because your intention is to read the Quran, so understand. So you get it. Now, if we don't have that much of uh, willpower, if we don't have that much of willpower, what have we been doing fasting? Every year the fasting is coming to give us willpower. That is what it is all about. Taqwa there is willpower. By fasting, we are learning, right? We are not going to do anything wrong. I'm going to do the good things as much as possible, timely, and plan it properly. Sahab time is there, Maghrib time is there, prayer times are properly done. I'll put all the effort. So that is what it is about. So if you have been fasting for 40 years, and if you still say, oh, at that time I fall asleep, I forget, and I get relations and visitors, now, you people have been studying under me, maybe for about almost a year now, right? How many classes have I cancelled?
I was there only with you for 2 days, only me and you, and we cancelled. Remember that earlier batch?
That is because people didn't come.
People didn't come. I came.
But I mean, no, what I mean is, I am saying,
Yes.
oh, I can't come today. Relations coming. I have to go visiting. I have to do something. How many classes would I have cancelled? Nothing. The only times I cancelled was when there was Muslim council meeting about the country's situation, or something really, really important that I can give more importance to that than this class. That's the only time I cancel. Hardly, right? Just because these classes are all free, right? I don't charge anything. So if I want, I can cancel any class anytime. Nobody can find fault with me. But I don't want to cancel any of the classes because I want to go to Jannatul Firdaus. I want to be there with Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. I want to be able to, speak to Khadija Radiallahu Anha, Aisha Radiallahu Anha, Nuh Alayhi Salam, and Yusuf Alayhi Salam, and I want me to be there, my husband to be there, my children to be there, my parents to be there. I want all that. So I have to do loads of Buddha. And Buddha is so easy. Did Allah say, give all your properties away and go and live as a hermit in a jungle or something like that? Did he say, okay, don't talk to people for 3 days or 5 days or anything like that? Did he say, don't eat biryani and don't dress beautifully, or don't have huge houses and don't have cars and all? Did he say that? No. Enjoy your life. You can have as big houses as you like, with chandeliers and carpets and all the facilities and so on. Have 4 cars for 4 people in the family. No problem. They are all halal. All what he said is do a little bit of ibadah. And there are some of them are shortcuts. One-way ticket to the heaven, inshallah, if you do it properly. One of them is studying the Quran. Best of you is the one who study the Quran and who teaches you. Okay? So why don't all of you, every one of you doing this is amazing for me. I can't believe you people are not grabbing opportunities with both hands and then say, no, never letting go. No, don't come and ask me. I can't understand. Alhamdulillah has given us the ability and then the facilities, and people like to listen to me is a big thing. I may really want to do Thafseer class, and maybe there is nobody who wants to listen to me. Then how do I do that? Even then Allah will reward, but somebody is listening is, we'll be having millions of. So all those are given by Allah. So it is all in your mind. Now this last Arabic class also Tuesday, I said, yeah, the two people who keep promising, they never turned up. Zakia and Tassie.
I had the flu, so that's why I fell asleep. It was terrible flu. My son brought from somewhere and I suffered in the end.
Zakia, you can tell me excuses.
Yes, I know, Allah knows, but then sad it was.
It depends, right? If I were you, I would be in bed and I would have put on the phone and I would sit, keep the phone next to me and I would have listened. Even if you have flu, you can always listen. Somebody said, one of the students said, I'm in the doctor's consultation room and my appointment is in about some time and I'm sitting and listening to it on the phone. So that girl probably wanted really the best of both worlds. So it's up to you, really. I'm not running you down. I'm just telling you.
I'm
you
like,
have to, yeah, you have to.
but for a long time, I didn't know there was another group. Every day I'm looking, no group, and I don't know. Then I called you. After that, I had to tell Safra, and she put me in. Inshallah, I hope I will be there.
If I were you, I would have called Safra the first thing. And second thing, if she says no other group, I would have called me if I were you. I would have, you're such a good friend and so close to me. I would have called and said, Mareena, it's time, you'd better have another class because I missed out the first class. And if you had told me, I would have.
Right. I didn't know I'm so important. Allah.
Every one of you students are precious to me because you people are the ways for me to go to heaven. You people are the means for me to go to heaven, inshallah.
Inshallah.
If you all are in a good place, you will be asking dua for me. And of course, if you all are practicing what I'm teaching you, I will always be getting all the amals that you all are doing without using even an atom of your amal. And if you teach it to other people, even those people's thawab, I will be getting equal amount. So it's a sadaqatul jariyah. And it is a thing that can run for thousands of years. Maybe I taught you this, and you teach your child, and the child teaches a child, for another 1,000 years, this knowledge goes down your generation. I will be dead and gone long ago, but all the amals will be written for me, and when I wake up for the akhirah, I will have much, much, much more than I even dreamt of. That's what it is all about. The thing is, a lot of people don't think of it that way. Okay, if I can, I'll do. But if this class was a henna class, or a cookery class, or a knitting class, I would have had about 100 people now. In Al-Muslim Art, we used to have all this. We have this Quranic class, that's about 20, 30 will come. And once in a blue moon, once in 3 months or so, we'll have a cookery class. And we announce, and the hall is so full. There are not enough chairs. On both sides, there will be people standing. And behind people, they will stand. People are standing near me also. Right, for the cookery class. Quran class? No. Even the chairs are not filled. That's no. That is what Rasulullah also said. But you decide where you want. Okay? I'm not reprimanding you. I'm trying to put that important knowledge in your head. Okay. Any other question? Any other question?
Yes, I have a question.
Yeah.
So if it's a situation like this, like, the father gives an amount of jewelry for a daughter when she's getting married.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So maybe his son gets married maybe after another 8 years or something like that. Okay. So at that time, the father is not in a position to give the same amount to the son. Okay, maybe like let's tell like he has fallen severely ill, or like he has lost his business or something like that. So in that case, even at that point, does it become obligatory for him to give the same amount for
No, at the time he was giving you, he should have had the clear intention of giving the son equal.
Oh.
Right? If he had the intention, Allah knows that intention. Nobody has to tell Allah. Allah will know the intention. And later, if he falls into trouble, that Allah knows. That Allah will forgive. Right? So it is all, we have to understand Allah knows everything.
Yes.
Right? But they have to have the clear intention. I'll do the right thing. Perfectly correct thing. Right? Ideally, he should have divided whatever he was giving to you and put it away in the son's name. But maybe, he was having business, very good business, and he might have thought, okay, I'll collect a little bit and then give it to him or whatever, then that's fine. Right? But suppose lots of unexpected things happen, then Allah knows.
Okay.
Then we don't have to worry. Okay?
Okay, Jazakallah khairan, auntie.
Okay, we'll stop there now. Right. Subhanaka Allahumma wa bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi.